Okay, and that is an attitude that you see not just amongst liberals in Canada and the left, but increasingly amongst nominal conservatives. And it's the same thing right around the world in the Western world. It is, I cannot find words, Nick, to express how concerning it is, the depth of ignorance that these children have on how public finances work. The notion that the government can take on debt so that the taxpayers don't have to take that debt on, as if somehow or other the fact that that government debt isn't your debt and my debt. It's mind-boggling.
There was a gentleman I met one time who had about the same kind of intelligence. In a lot of ways, he was a reasonable guy and I forget how it happened, but we started talking about gold. And he asked me, where did I think the world's gold went? I said, well, a lot of it goes into electronics. Some of it goes as currency. Some of it gets minted into coins for investment. It all gets, and some of it just gets locked away in a big vault. And he said, no, that's not where it goes at all. So I kind of laughed and I said, well, all right, where do you think it goes? He said, well, it goes back to the aliens. It goes where? To the aliens. I said, the aliens. He said, yeah, aliens take our gold. That's, those rockets that go up, they're always sending up. They're all full of gold. And they're turning it over to the aliens. I said, okay, let's play this silly little game because you're out of your mind, but let's play this little game. First of all, do you know how much gold weighs? And do you know how much it costs to put a pound of anything in space, never mind gold? Secondly, the universe is filled with gold. We have such a small percentage out of the vastness of the universe of gold. You can find it in nebulas, you can find it in gas giants, you can find it in exploded stars. There's all kinds of places to find it. Okay, you don't need to come to Earth and threaten to annihilate a planet to get the people on it to give you gold. It's a lot easier just to go and find it someplace else. And you went, oh, well, I never thought of that. And it's the same kind of mentality. They create this fantasy in their mind about how things work. And it's so far removed from reality that they never stop to question their own sanity. Like, are you crazy? First of all, when he asked me where I thought the rockets went, I said, well, they're probably launching satellites or taking supplies to the space station, what probably they're doing, that kind of thing. But gold? You know what would it cost to put, 1,000 pounds of gold into space? Never mind the cost of the gold itself. So anyway, the point I'm making is that there are a lot of people who, under normal circumstances, dealing with day-to-day issues, are normal, well-adjusted human beings. But as soon as you start talking about things a little bit outside their field of expertise, they either won't believe a word you say or they'll believe everything. And we've got too many people who believe everything. And you see it over and over and over again. I think back to when I was on terrestrial radio. Rick from Vanier called me one night. And we got talking economics. And he said, well, the government's got all the money. I said, well, no, the government doesn't have a penny. He said, oh, yes, it does. I said, where does the government get the money? And he said, well, from the mint. They have those big printing presses. I just couldn't believe it. This kind of nonsense. I had to take him back to the lemonade stand analogy and show him how the economy works. You buy a case of lemons for X amount of dollars, you turn it into juice, and each glass you mark up, put a markup on it, and you sell it at a prearranged price with the consumer, And as long as they're happy with it, they enter into a contract by buying the lemonade. That's how the economy works. That little difference between the cost, wholesale cost and retail cost, that's where all the wealth in the world comes from. He wouldn't believe me. He thought the printing presses just spat out money. And this is the kind of intelligence we see walking around with hats on today. And some of them in very high places.
Yeah, amen, brother. I mean, you're not wrong about that. It's hard enough to govern when you have a professional public service that is essentially the real government, okay? And, they get set in their ways. They have career bureaucrats who are convinced that the way they've been doing it is the way to do it. And if you really want to bring about change, it's extraordinarily difficult to do. Not impossible, but extraordinarily difficult to do politically. And if you want to say to them, no, it's extraordinarily difficult for you to do as well. But you have to have some basic understanding of economics in order to say, whoa, people, just sort of, let's hit on the brakes here. I don't think that works. Anyway, look, everybody should be super, super concerned about where our governments are going. And I know when I say this, I sound a little bit like one of those conspiracy theorists. But I'm not. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But I am telling you there is something going on in our society right now, in government throughout the Western world right now that's extremely troubling. It's an infection as deadly, economically speaking, I think, as the coronavirus has been, more so. And these people are utterly convinced that they have a plan that's going to work to transform our society from what it has been over the last several hundred years, for better or worse, into something completely new. And this is a dangerous, dangerous, arrogant approach to government, because what they want to do is they want to tear down our economic system now. They want to completely demolish it, and they want to replace it with a theory of economics that has never been tried in its entirety, and to the degree that parts of it have been tried, it's already proven to be disastrous. In other words, it's sort of like they're saying, yeah, okay, we understand, we believe in Marxism, but, Stalin got parts of it wrong. So we know better than Stalin, so we're going to give you Marxism, but we're going to give you, Pierre Trudeau or Justin Trudeau Marxism. Or we're going to give you Joe Biden Marxism. Or Bernie Sanders Marxism.
What they're really saying when they say that is Marxism hasn't worked because we haven't tried it my way yet.
Yeah, and this is I think that's very well put, Nick. And this is a very, very dangerous mindset. Very dangerous mindset.
It is.
This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is the seed of fascism. Now, I'm not saying that Justin Trudeau is a fascist. I'm not saying he's a fascist, but I'm saying that this is where fascism starts. True fascism. Not the nonsense.
You got to make sure you.
Go ahead.
It's not everybody thinks fascism is the right animal of the right wing when nothing could be further from the truth. And this is part of the education process that has to be undergone, is to change people's minds about what fascism, socialism, and communism all have in common and why they're blood brothers. And you can't have one, like, you can't say fascism's the right wing. It simply isn't. And it bothers me when people start talking that way because they really don't know anything about history.
Yeah, we have to do a whole show on that, Nick. on that topic alone. But look, we're coming up to top of the hour, so we're going to have to take a break. And when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to the show live, stay put. If you're listening to the podcast, make sure you check out part 3, because I'm telling you, you will not believe. If you think the world has gone mad, you have not heard anything yet. So stay put. Okay, we'll be back in a few minutes here on the Nick and Joe Show on ThinkRadio.ca.